I've spent the last 6 months tracking plant prices. Etsy, Facebook Marketplace, collector auctions, rare aroid groups at 2 in the morning. And what I found surprised me because the story isn't just which plants crashed, it's which ones are quietly setting up to come back. And right now, those plants are cheap, and most people are completely sleeping on them. Before we get into the plants, you need to understand my framework because I'm not picking these based on vibes. I built what I'm calling the Resale Value Test. 3 factors, every plant gets scored. Factor 1, propagation choke rate. How long does it actually take to make more of this plant? Because if anyone with a pair of scissors can chop it and have cuttings ready by spring, that is your price ceiling right there. Factor 2, tissue culture vulnerability. Can a lab clone this cheaply at mass scale? Because if yes, and I hate to say this, that plant has a ceiling it will never, ever escape. We've already seen what TC did to certain Monsteras. I'll touch base on those in a second, but we all know which ones I mean. Factor 3, collector permeance. This is a big one because is this still on serious growers' wish lists, not TikTok wish lists? I'm talking about the people who actually spend real money on plants, the ones in the collector groups who know the difference between a TC clone and a true cutting. A plant that survives all 3, well, that's a buy. So let's go. Plant number 1, none other than the Philodendron Gloriosum. 3 years ago, $200-300. Today, $25 to $40. Most people see that and think, crash plant. I see it differently. Here's why it passes my test. First, Gloriosum is a crawler. It grows horizontally, not vertically, which means you cannot chop and prop this thing quickly. 1 new leaf every 2 to 3 months under ideal conditions. Number 2, the propagation choke rate, extremely high. Tissue culture, yes, labs are working on it, but here's the thing. The velvety texture on Gloriosum is notoriously difficult to preserve through tissue culture. Plants coming out of labs are consistently showing lower quality compared to true grown specimen, and the collector community has already started sorting them out. That creates a premium tier with a real price floor. So, keep in mind collector permeance also. This one's not going anywhere. Large heart-shaped velvety leaves. This is the Rolex of velvet aroids, currently sitting at pawn-shop prices. We'll take those pawn-shop prices too. Verdict, buy it. This might be the strongest buy on this entire list. Next up, plant number 2. Anthurium clarinervium. You've seen this one. Heart-shaped leaf, velvet surface, brilliant white veins, peaked at $150. Today, it's $15 to $25 at most plant shops. Now, here's what makes clarinervium interesting from a resale perspective. It's a seed-grown anthurium. To get true to type quality plants from seed, you need compatible parents. You need knowledge, and most importantly, you need time. Tissue culture for anthuriums is significantly more complicated than for monsteras. The propagation choke rate is real. And here's what I've actually observed in collector groups. Quality clarinervium specimen are moving at 20 to 40% above retail. That spread, that's your profit window. This isn't a dramatic pick. It's not going to make you rich in 3 months, but it's steady. It's boring in the best possible way, and sometimes boring is exactly what you want when the market is volatile. Verdict, buy it, especially if you can find a pair and cross-pollinate. Before plant number 3, and I promise you, this one is going to surprise you because nobody, and I mean nobody, is talking about it. But a quick favor, if you're finding this useful, hit the like button. I know, but the algorithm is genuinely unpredictable right now, and it makes a real huge difference for this channel. Subscribe if you're new. I do this kind of market reporting monthly. And now you're like, Kevin, move on with it, all right? I get it. All right, plant number 3. Scindapsus treubii Moonlight. I can already see the comments. Kevin, that's not a rare plant. And you're right, sort of. Here's what's happening with Moonlight that most people, and I mean most people, are missing. It looks like a pothos. We know that, right? It's priced like a pothos, $15 to $20, but it propagates like a collector plant. Scindapsus in general roots slower, push new growth slower, and the silver sheen on Moonlight specifically has never been successfully replicated by TC labs at scale without visible quality degradation. Keep that in mind. What I'm seeing in groups, buyers pick this up for $15. They fall completely in love with it, want a second one 6 months later, and they can't find it for $15 anymore. The supply just isn't there. This is what I call a sleeper pick. Low entry price, real propagation ceiling. Growing collector recognition also, that's important. And if you can propagate it yourself, rooted cuttings are selling for $30 to $45 in collector groups. On a $15 plant, you do the math. Verdict, strong buy. This is your backyard hustle plant. The Scindapsus Moonlight treubii. All right, plant number 4. And this one is genuinely underrated. The Rhaphidophora cryptantha, the shingle plant. We've all seen those. But if you haven't, it's a viner that literally presses itself flat against whatever surface it's climbing. Leaves shingled, a board. You know, those leaves are so weird. Cool. It looks like nothing else in the hobby, completely wild, and it's $20 to $40 right now. 20 to 40 bucks. Here's the propagation problem, though, for anyone trying to mass produce this. It grows in juvenile form flat against surfaces. You can't propagate it the way you would a standard vine, that's for sure. Cuttings take a very long time to establish, and TC for Rhaphidophora cryptantha specifically is not widely in production yet. Collector Permians, this plant is not for everyone, but the people who love it are obsessed with it. And that is exactly the collector profile that sustains value. Not casual buyers, but true enthusiasts who will not let the price drop. Verdict? Buy. Especially for the aesthetically driven collector. You know, this goes viral on plant social media every time someone posts a picture of a mature specimen. They're really, really cool plants, though. Plant 5, one of my favorites, the Philodendron Melanochrysum. Look, I want to be transparent. Melanochrysum has been on a collector wish list for years. Not a new discovery, but its current price, $30 to $50, well, that represents an opportunity I think is being seriously underestimated. Here's the case. Melanochrysum gets big leaves. They can reach 2 feet long under good conditions. It becomes a statement piece, and statement pieces hold value in a way compact plants just simply don't. TC production exists, yes, but mature-looking Melanochrysum requires actual growing time. You cannot fake size, and a large, well-established Melanochrysum for 5 mature leaves still commands $150 to $200 in the current market. Right now, even after everything crashed. Just keep that in mind, too. Buy it for $40, grow it properly. That's a 4 to 5 X return before we even talk about cuttings. Verdict, buy it. With one caveat, this is just reward. It's for the patient grower. You have to be patient, not the quick flipper. So quick flippers, be warned. Plant 6 is my wild card, Monstera standleyana albo. This is the variegated Monstera that nobody talks about because everyone's looking at the Thai Constellation and albo deliciosa, but standleyana, it flies under the radar. The variegation is more irregular, more dramatic, less predictable, and that unpredictability, that's actually a feature for serious collectors. Why does it pass the test, you ask? Well, variable variegation is genuinely difficult to stabilize in tissue culture. TC labs have a hard time with it, and while Thai Con prices compressed under TC pressure, here's the thing, standleyana albo has held in the $60 to $90 range even through the broader crash. At $60 compared to a Thai Constellation at $45, you are getting significantly more collector value per dollar. Good, right? Less mainstream means less downward pressure from casual buyers leaving the market. So verdict would be a conditional buy. Vet your sellers carefully. Quality varies a lot on standleyana, but a clean specimen with good variegation, smart hold. All right, quick flip to the other side, 2 fast passes, and then I'll give you the honest read on Thai Constellation and Monstera albo, since I know that's in the back of your mind. Pass 1, Alocasia Black Velvet. Stunning, I know, but it's widely available. TC production is extensive and cheap, and there is no scarcity floor forming. The collector desire is real. The supply has simply caught up. So pass. Pass 2, Raven ZZ, dark, dramatic, photogenic, also in every Home Depot in America. Saw one there last week. When a plant hits the big box store circuit, the resale floor is gone. You will never flip a Raven ZZ at a profit, so pass. Now, Tycon and Monstera albo, since I mentioned them briefly. Thai Constellation, the TC wall is real, and the price ceiling has been capped for the foreseeable future. So sorry. Collect it because you love it, not because you're going to flip it. Monstera albo, TC is catching up faster than most people realize. The price gap between TC albo and cutting albo is compressing every single month. Same story. That is not a knock on either plant. You know that I love both of mine, but we're talking resale strategy here, and the numbers just don't support them as buys in this particular market. So, your 2026 Resale Value Test results. 6 plants that I think have real upside for the patient and strategic buyer. Gloriosum, clarinervium, treubii Moonlight, Rhaphidophora cryptantha, Melanochrysum, standleyana albo. Here is the bigger takeaway, though. The crash isn't over, but within the crash, there are pockets of genuine value. Plants where the price has dropped faster than the collector desire has. Those gaps are where you build a serious collection for pennies on the dollar compared to where these plants are going to settle. I'm Kevin. I've been covering this market for a while now, and I genuinely believe that 2026 is going to be looked back on as the best buying window this hobby has seen in a decade. So drop your picks in the comments. What plant are you buying right now as a long-term hold? I want to see your strategy. And if you want to see the plants I think that have already hit their absolute floor and are starting to recover, that video is right there in the corner, because let me tell you, you'll want to see that video if you like this one, because what's happening in that realm is fascinating. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.